right, what's going on, y'all? It's a late night edition. Just want to get something out of the way real quick. This ain't no air mattress, homie. Ain't no air mattress. Anyway, I was doing that for one of the viewers. I want to talk about this whole thing with and I'm talking quiet right now because it's kind of late night, but I gotta do this live right now because if I don't do this, somebody else is gonna get to it. I can't allow that to happen. So the first thing I want to say at the beginning of this is I talked about Mike Tyson earlier today, and believe it or not, just like I predicted, upon arrival to Florida, I found out that the guy, and I still haven't got his name yet, um, I found out that he didn't want to press charges. Da, da, da. He didn't want to press charges against Mike Tyson. So there will be no case, there will be no lawsuit. So for all those deflectors that try to say they would be, da, 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 it won't be. Second thing I wanted to say, there's a picture floating around. I'm gonna post it up later of Ric Flair and Mike Tyson partying at Fountain Blue or Live, one of the two in Miami, which was where Mike Tyson was going. So I want to talk about this DoggieDiamonds thing, man. DoggieDiamonds, man. You motherfucker, you. You slick Brooklyn nigga, you. I like that guy. He got Hassan Campbell to come on his show. And I'm pretty sure this was filmed earlier because he mentioned a timestamp. But nevertheless, this was filmed. And he put it up and he posted it up. And there's a nice conversation. And Hassan Campbell goes in and he talks about how, I guess, Wack100 was on Clubhouse. I stay away from that place. That place is dangerous. He was on Clubhouse and he was talking about him. And he was talking about how he chumped him at the table, you know, the whole sit down with him and DJ Academics and Takashi 69 and all that, whatever. Let's give snitches a chance. Give snitches a chance. You gotta make a fucking song out of that right nowadays, huh? Anyway, they sat down, and at the table, I just talked about it the day before yesterday, which was Wednesday. I just sat down and I talked about it, and I said, they mentioned Nipsey Hussle. And I just didn't like the way they mentioned Nipsey Hussle. I never in my wildest dreams would have thought that the information that was put out there, whatever, and I'm not into this culture. So I don't know. What I mean by this culture, I mean like, you know, the blues and the reds. You know, I can't say that shit on my thing because, you know, but I'm not into any of that. You know, I'm not involved in none of that or whatever. I know people around it, but I'm not involved in it. What up, Las Vegas? Kareem Smith on the check-in. What's up, bro? I want you to chime in. So stay with me, Kareem, because I want you to chime in because you out there. I know people in Cali. My sister live in Cali, but I prefer people to live on the West Coast to speak about things that happen on the West Coast. I have a preference for that because the culture here in New York City and the culture out there in the West Coast is totally different. As soon as you get to area, it's different, you know? So please stay with me, brother. I want you to hear this. They have now implicated or alluded to or said, who knows if it's the truth or not. I want to hope it's not the truth about Nipsey Hussle and, you know, talking about how he's a person that it may or may have not engaged in certain sexual acts. I'm not going to say what those sexual acts are because that would just be defaming this man for no reason. But nevertheless, it sticks there and it's there, right? And this was what came out of Wack's mouth in Wack100 and the tape recording that Hassan Campbell made. There's a lot of people who will ask the question, and I'm surprised Doggy didn't ask the question. Why was you recording in the first fucking place? You never talking to that nigga on the phone. Ever. Nigga, send me an email. I got you. Send me a text. I got you. We good. Oh, meet you over there? Nah. I ain't ever told them on the phone. No shots. I ain't got no problem with Hassan Campbell, but Nah, bro, I ain't never talking to you on the phone. That feeling would always be lingering there, you know. But they have a recorded phone call, and it alludes to, in my opinion, incriminating and a possible big lawsuit and everything else. You just incriminated yourself on the phone trying to show off. A lot of people do that, you know. They never intend on getting recorded. Oh, this shit is out there. So Doggy had him on the phone, and Doggy was asking him a couple questions, you know, and they were interesting questions too. I gotta give it to them Brooklyn niggas. They know how to get something up out of you. So you bought the bottle at 12 a.m., right? No. So you bought the bottle at 12:01 a.m., right? Yeah. You just said you bought the bottle at 12 o'clock. Doggy, and I'm not trying to clown, I'm just trying to make this lighthearted because it's a serious situation. We talk about Nipsey Hussle. And it's hard to believe that it's a possibility that they might have been stealing 30% of this boy's earnings or whatever the case may be. And like many people have said, he never even had a platinum album out at the time of his death. You know, he was doing this literally from his closings and businesses and charging $100 for a mixtape and all that stuff. So I remember that, you know. So DoggieDiamonds was asking these questions. He said one thing that stuck out to me more than anything. He said, well, you thought that was your man's. He was talking about Wack100. You thought that was your man's. And I said, yep, he saw the same interview I saw. Because in that DJ Academics interview, and I still haven't got through all 3+ hours of it. It's just too long. I resorted to starting to just listen to it. And it doesn't do justice because I have to see what they're doing. But that was the most important question out of all of them. But I thought you thought that was your man's. Wack100 ain't nobody's man. He wasn't even his man's that he was managing man's. I saw the interaction that happened between him and Blueface. Blueface evidently thought that was his man. I don't know. You know, I don't know. I can't speak for the character of Wack100. But that is the most important question of the night right there, which is you thought that was your man. Wack100 ain't nobody's man. That's why he goes around, he speaks freely the way he speaks, because he believes in his mind at this time and era in his life, he has no friends. Now, I'm not going to paraphrase everything that DoggieDiamonds said or whatever, but I wanted to use DoggieDiamonds because DoggieDiamonds has had the most credited, in my opinion, the most credited interaction in this whole saga right here, because he has the first words of rebuttals for the masses. And you got it all supplied to you by DoggieDiamonds. Only thing I forgot to do with this live broadcast was put that link in there. But I'm going to put it in there for y'all to see for yourself or whatever. Y'all go over there. Tell him Diamond sent you over there if you ain't know what was up. I'm sure he left it up. There's a lot of things to be had out of that interview. That little short little phone conversation that DoggieDiamonds had with Hassan Campbell. I got to give Hassan some advice. You're moving too fast. I left a comment over there for you too. I hope you see it. It says, stop trying to sit at tables. You know what that means, Hassan? Stop trying to sit at tables. First thing you said at that table when you was in front of that man, you said this with your own words. You got me at a table full of millionaires. And you said that? You said that. You got me at a table full of Harobies, these other shit. One of my ex-girlfriends, she put me on these a long time ago. I guess the ones with the soul on them, they're the best ones. You said, you got me sitting at a table full of millionaires, that's Tekashi 6ix9ine. And at that time, I was thinking, what the fuck did you just say? You ain't even got to do all that. All you had to do was just be there. You don't glorify Tekashi 6ix9ine. I have nothing against Tekashi 6ix9ine. I don't care. He ain't tell on me. He didn't tell on any of my friends. But just the candor of the man. And none of my friends do shit like that to really, you know what I'm saying, be bothered by that. But it's just the fact that the guy's a pure out rat. He admits to being a rat. He put a rat imagery in one of his videos when he came home. And everybody, he's trying to get the satire over people's eyes. And I said it the other day, and you were live with me. You heard me say it. He's trying to revalidate himself. That's why he needed Hassan Campbell there, because nobody else would do it. They had respectable eyes on him. Nobody would do that for him. Nobody. So when you get guys like Wack100, you get a guy like Hassan Campbell, he used you for your personality. Everybody in the room used you for your personality. And to be quite honest, Hassan, you're probably the most authentic motherfucker that was in the room. You sitting over there looking at these motherfuckers. They're like, no, that's who we needed him. And I'm not trying to say DJ Academics is a bad person necessarily, but let's get it together. You're not tough. Joe Budden punked you on live TV. Then we'll show you graph from the company. Everyday struggle. Y'all give me a swallow some money for that. Anyway, salute the big. Hassan, I say this from the bottom of my heart. You are a superstar in your own right, my friend. And if somebody invites you somewhere, it's because your personality is needed. Your personality is needed for many reasons: to authenticate, to pontificate, and to educate. I use you for all three. Go watch the interview again. You're going to understand what I'm talking about at that point. And I only watched an hour and 20 minutes of it so far. They used you. And each one of them people in that room, when the time becomes right, you're going to have a problem with each one of them. Each one of them going to have something to say about you. Takashi going to turn on you. DJ Academics going to turn on you. He'll just shun you. He ain't going to turn on you. He'll shun you. He'll say good things, let a couple months pass by. Because he doesn't know everybody the same amount and grips to everybody. He knows Wack, and I could tell from not even using a telescope or a microscope, he doesn't trust Wack. DJ Academics is something different because he got into hip-hop a different way. He got into hip-hop by blogging. I remember when he used to do all them blogs. That's why I first seen him at. I said back then he's going to go somewhere just because of his voice. He had that voice. I hit that like button for me. Wack100, on the other hand, he's been losing credibility with a lot of people. And this recent recording that just came out, that just put the nail in the coffin. No pun intended. You're talking about a dead man. You're talking about a dead man to otherwise strangers. And to a certain point, you're almost bragging about it, you know? That's just what a couple people said. I listened to the audio myself. I ran into one person that had a little extended more audio. I would never put that up on my page. It would be disrespecting Nipsey Hussle. So you'll never see that up on my page. Patreon, none of that shit. Now there's a new explosion within this DoggieDiamonds video that I got to put y'all on exclusive for. And y'all thank DoggieDiamonds for this. I ain't no Chuck motherfucker. I always give homage to who it is. Material still is here. He alluded to DoggieDiamonds. The Wack100 has said something about one of Philly's finest down there. And y'all know who I'm talking about, Gilly and his cousin Wallow. And he said that he had said something about them boys. And I'm trying to figure out what he might have said. But this Hassan Campbell's information that he says the next is coming out. He's going to put up on his Patreon. I'm looking forward to hearing this. I really want to hear what you had to say about Wallow and Gilly the Kid. These guys are legends, you know. I was in the music industry. Gilly, I remember when he was with his group, and he was with two different groups, I believe, and then he became a solo artist. But I think it was Major Figures. I think that's who he was with. You know what I mean? They had some connection to Rockefeller at one time, and then other people. I think that's who it was. They were all over the mixtapes, him and his group. Same thing with everybody out here making fun of Benzino. Benzino, Almighty RSO, was kind of like Benzino couldn't rap, but Benzino had some bars. He had a couple bars. Anyway, I want to hear what he has to say about Wallow and Gilly the Kid. I really want to hear what he has to say, Wack100, or had to say. But Hassan, I get you. You must have smelled some funk in the air when you was talking to dude, or maybe he had preluded and said something earlier that gave your ear and said to you, you know what? Let me record this motherfucker. He giving out some dirt just in case. You might have felt like he was trying to play you. I don't know. What I do know is this much. Don't go out to California anytime soon, Hassan. Don't go out there anytime soon. Don't go out there. I don't care if fucking whoever's there, don't go out to California. You have said some things about California, and I know how California people are. My sister lived in California. Got family in California. So did my nephew. So I'm telling you, don't go out to California. You may not make it back on that plane trip. They're going to be more mad at Hassan Campbell for putting out the information than they actually are going to be upset about what was in the information. This is how the minds work now. It is your job as an older person, if you're getting older, over 35, you have to constantly reach back and see what are the youth thinking. You understand what I'm saying? What's their thought process or whatever the case may be? You have to for those 25 and under. If you do that, you will be lost. Things will happen around you. Hassan, do not go out to California anytime soon. What you have exposed could actually take its own whirlwind. And even if it doesn't start right now, the whirlwind is going and it will not stop. There's no way in hell anybody's going to forget those words that they heard on that tape. You know that, and I know that too. So Hassan, do not go out to California, okay? I don't care how many guns you got. I don't care who you attached to out there, whatever the case may be. Do not go out there. I'm telling you that. I don't know you personally, so I can't call you a friend. But let's say I'm extending my what I know to you and let you know. That's just a boyfriend from South Central. And he was David, what up? It's a whole different thing they do out there. A whole different thing. And I know you know Cali, son. I ain't saying that. But don't you go back out there. A lot of people will try to get you pumped up to put out more and do more, whatever. And the more you put out, the more you do. You got to remember, Hassan, it's going to make it worse. It's going to make it worse. So do not go back out to California anytime soon. At all. Stay away from the West Coast, okay? Just trust me on this one, bud. Trust me on this one. Don't go out there. Don't go out there. I don't care how many guns you got with you, how many guys you got with you. Do not go to California. It's a no-go. Don't even go to Arizona, because Cali people be in Arizona. Vegas either. Colorado, you probably get a pass. But those three definitely don't hit. Vegas, Erie, Cali. Don't go there. Either one of them. For a while. You got to wait now for the people to catch up. They're going to be more mad at you exposing Wack and the fact that you have a recorded phone call, Wack100. Than they're actually going to be mad at the fact of what's on the audio. This is how the mind works. So you have to allow them a couple of days. This is why sometimes I move away from a story sometimes, because you have to allow them a couple of days to actually catch up and understand exactly what you're talking about. It has to register in their mind. And for some people, for some reason or another, they just cannot do that. Yeah, it's hard for them to do that. So give it a month, 2 months. It'll register in their head. They're not going to forget it. There's going to be a lot of people mad at Wack when they hear this audio. There's going to be a lot of people within the next 12 hours going to start questioning because of the saturation of the story on YouTube right now. That's why I always make sure I give my opinion instead of the opinion everybody want to hear. I don't give you the opinion everybody wants to hear. That's fucking corny. and everything's going to be great and it's happy and we're smiling. Well, fuck out of it. I don't do that fake happiness shit. And I definitely don't do sucker moves like talking about on the phone with people that are damn near strangers to you about how you are trying to make it in a bragging sense how you were extorting somebody. And then implement another man, which is Big U, into the whole scenario. You know? A lot of people saying a lot of things I could talk about a little bit because it's out there. They're saying that this guy Big U may have had something to do with Nipsey's death. I don't know. That's what they're saying. That's what the streets are saying. You know, that's what those guys are saying. I didn't say it. That's what they are saying. You know, they're saying that they were ripping this guy off, Nipsey Hussle, for 30% of his royalties, and did so even up after his death. They say Laura London's kept her mouth shut because she's living in fear. It's been threatened, possibly. I don't know. I'm just repeating what everybody else is saying, a word I've heard. I don't know the intimate details, but I know I ain't seen Laura London say a word since that funeral. I never heard her say one word. Not one word. Anybody got an article, a sit-down interview, anything? She's never said a word. She's never said a word. I even looked, and I didn't see anything. I saw some pointer she did like early this year, and she was walking. I'm pretty sure y'all can find that very easily. And she was walking, but the camera was a distance away from her, so they wouldn't even pick up any audio. It's really sad. The whole scenario is sad. This is why a lot of times I'm so very scared to get close with people. I mean, it's very hard for me to meet new friends because when you're dealing with, let me tell y'all something, I hate to say it like this. A lot of black dudes and Spanish dudes in general have a lot of shit going through their head of how they can fuck their own. They don't fuck others first, they fuck their own first. That's how it is. That's why I particularly try to keep the friends that I've known the longest. Even if I have arguments with them or whatever, we ain't never been so far that we can't come back from it. You know what I mean? We ain't never been that far along, we can't come back from it. So that's why I always keep the same people. There's a whole batch of them I've known for 20, 25, all my life, you know? And I keep those people, I keep in touch with them. Even if I don't hear from them for a week, I still hit them up. Hey, what's up? What's going on? Because I want you to be around all my life, because if I know if anything goes down, I can definitely count on you, or I should be able to. I should be able to. Not out of obligation, but out of just the right thing and being a good person. And a lot of guys that you meet new as a black male, if you ladies don't know this, when you meet a lot of guys and you ladies are dating them and you're complaining about a lot of shit that they do or the way they treat people, whatever, it's all a combination of how other men of color mostly have treated them. They never talk about the trauma that men of color put on other men of color on a daily basis. There are some men of color that will look at other men as if they're nothing but victims. So a lot of you ladies, when y'all ask the questions, well, how come they can't get it together? We went to college and we're doing this and we're doing that, or whatever. Their interaction's different. There's not that togetherness that you girls have with the sisterhood and all that. And a lot of it has to do with single mothers, poverty-stricken neighborhoods, et cetera, like Nipsey, Wack100, many of these people are from, and they just carry on tradition with it over and over and over and over and over again. But it becomes so much of a stalemate that you're almost indoctrinated into it, you know? That's really what it is. So Hassan Campbell, I'm just telling you, this is some real eye-opening, alerting information you put out here. I heard Charleston White give his take on it. I heard a couple people give their take on it. I just wanted to match up so I could see what was clear and what wasn't. But DoggieDiamonds came out the woodwork in this. DoggieDiamonds. I can get homage to him. Yeah. That one right there, definitely. And a couple other ones, him and the brother Kareem, I think that's what his name is. Shout out to him, too. I subscribe to your channel, too, Playboy. I don't be making everything because the alerts don't be coming up. You know how this shit works. So if I miss a few, but just know I'm around. You know what I'm saying? I like the Kareem, dude. We be talking about some stuff. You know what I'm saying? Take some gems out of there to take with you. He definitely knows on the administrative level to a certain measurement beyond the normal scope anyway about how different services operate and work. And so I can appreciate that about the Kareem guy, you know. And Doggy, I don't be into every goddamn subject you do, but most of them be all right. You know what I mean? Some shit I just stay away from. Like, yeah. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, yeah. I think we all like that as journalists, online journalists. There's some story you just stay away, like, yeah. Like, I was going to stay away from this. That's what Doggy did. And I said, I see what he's saying. Let that man talk. Let that man talk. Y'all shut the fuck up. Let that man talk. Y'all let that man Hassan talk. What's next for Hassan after this? Will he get labeled as a phone caller recorder? I never record anybody's phone calls. You can feel sure that I never do no shit like that. I've never recorded nobody's phone calls that I knew intimately. Now, if I don't know them or somebody I think I might have a problem with or whatever, I'll go download a phone app real quick and grab that shit and keep it. Yes, I will, especially if I'm dealing with business. That's what you should be using this shit at. Y'all using absolute core street niggas. You know? Street niggas. That's exactly what it is, a street nigga. The old street nigga. Not saying he's old and weak. This means like, you're too old to be doing this shit, bro. That means you've been doing shit like this for 20, 35 years. 25, 35 years, you've been doing nothing but shit like this all your life. Tell me they got a sex tape with a boy. This is like crazy. Like, really? Who records that? You got a sex tape of Nipsey Hussle exchanging bodily fluid between him and his girlfriend. Why would you put that out there to anybody? Well, you was hoping he was going to go tell the rumor for you. Yo, Wack told me this. Now people come up and they want to interview you. Yo, is it true? You hold them off or store them off for a couple of weeks. And then you finally come out on your own after it's died down and say, yo, that really did happen. Numbers go back up. I gotta stop doing that pathetic shit. I know that trick too. I choose not to utilize. There's a whole bunch of tricks I could utilize. A whole bunch of them I could utilize, and I don't. I'd rather just be me. Me gets me going better. When you start doing an acting role, you gotta keep that shit up. You gotta keep that shit up. You start telling lies, you gotta keep the lie up. You start telling rumors that are false or may not be false, or maybe the streets didn't want to know, you gotta deal with that. I would never put out that a dead man was doing anything. And I'm talking about Nipsey Hussle. I would never do that. I wouldn't want that on my soul. You know what I'm saying? Like, I wouldn't want that with me. I am the guy that now talked about a dead man. And he's not here to defend himself. His wife, I would suggest, is probably living in fear right now. Well, she's been so quiet for these past years since the man has passed on. And there's a passage in the Bible, as a matter of fact, that talks about the same type of stuff. You should not talk ill of the dead. That's actually a curse you don't have. That's a curse brought onto you for talking ill of the dead. That's when I heard Charleston White, I think that's what his name is, one that kind of looks like Cat Williams. When I heard him and he was joking around, I was like, what's wrong with you motherfuckers? Like, what is it? Like, say what you want to or whatever. A joke is a joke. You could have thrown a couple quirks in, whatever. He just went too far, in my opinion. went too far. I'm not going to tell you everything he said, but he was just like really mocking and making fun of certain situations that he just shouldn't have, bro. Like, I would have never stepped in those areas. But with like, when you listen to these men talk about dead men and make fun of dead men, you can't help but ask yourself the question, are these men just heartless or they don't care about anybody? I mean, what is the thing? Because it seems like to me, that's a sacrifice. You know what I'm saying? Sounds like a sacrifice to me. Sacrifice for the riches. That sacrifice meaning something under the head of Baphomet or something like that. Now, I mean something a little bit more serious than that. It's like that old tale of the blues singer that went into the. Y'all never heard this story? Let me tell y'all this story. It was an old blues singer. I forgot what his name was, Jimmy something. And he was an old blues singer. He went to the middle of the road somewhere in Mississippi and met up with the actual devil. And the devil asked him what he wanted. He said, I want to do not become rich and famous, right? And so the devil made him rich and famous, but he said, listen, there's one key to it. You got to pay a debt to me one day. You even hear Drake mention the same sentiment in one of his songs. I forgot which one it was. But it's on a recent album. I think it was on Scorpion. He said something similar to this. And so this man, he went his whole life, became famous or whatever. And it was time to pay back the devil. He had to. And I think a lot of players involved here, a lot of these men nowadays, all in a bond with the devil somewhere or another for their lust and chase after riches. You know, it's actually kind of sad. You got guys out here that's so afraid to go back to poverty. The only thing all of them can dream of is not how to help and how to build and how to do a lot of things these girls are accusing them of. I can see why. They're talking about, the girls are talking about collectively. And they're talking about individuals. They're talking about collectively. What are you doing to hire other men? So when you see these men out here doing the violence, you're able to stop them. If you see situations like this getting ready to happen, you're able to stop them. And just like that guy that got locked up for doing the murder, Eric Holder or whatever, nobody's done anything to that kid. Nobody's done nothing to that kid. I'm not wishing they, suggesting they should, but I'm just saying nobody's done nothing to that kid. The one that killed Nipsey, I'm talking about. Nobody's done nothing to him. So, yeah. We got 3, 4, 5 different elements in the story. And I just don't see how talking about a dead man. I don't care fuck what nobody's talking about. And exposing a dead man that's not here to defend himself. His wife damn near is living in fear. Does any contribution to hip hop? If anything, you motherfucking vloggers are starting to degrade the industry as well as your own industry. You're making it so fucking polluted that people don't even actually want to come on YouTube unless it's some type of drama, some type of scandal, some type of beef, or whatever. Stories like this bring everybody back to YouTube. They talk about it for 2 or 3 days. Then they move on to something else. Let's talk gas about this. We got the next pick. It is becoming so fucking controversial that pretty soon YouTube is going to be like the tabloid papers. Where you remember the tabloid papers like the Sun and the Star and all that shit? You used to see right there in the corner. When you was at the grocery store, it'd be right there in the corner as you putting everything on the conveyor belt to bring out. And you looking at that shit, you'd be like, Wolf Boy found in Mexico or some shit. Half man, half matador found in Brazil. You know, it's always some crazy fucking story attached to it, right? That's how YouTube is nowadays. This is how YouTube is nowadays. I swear to God to you. It's the exact same way. You know? And in between the pages, there's a true story or two here and there. You know? But for the most part, this shit is like, YouTube is like the Sun. What was the other one? National Enquirer. That was the other one. People knew the stories and they were fake as fuck. They got it because the stories were fake. You get what I'm saying? With the tabloid papers like the National Enquirer, the Sun, I forgot what the other ones were. People bought them because the stories inside of them, they knew they were fake, but they were so well written that they were interesting. Well, the same thing happens with YouTube. People know the stories, a lot of the stories are fake, but they're so fucking interesting that they say, I gotta go watch it. So that material gets moved up the ladder quicker than the real material, which also refers back to the Bible. A lie is almost worth more than the truth nowadays. A lie will go further than the truth nowadays. Maybe always so, I don't know. I haven't been alive long enough to know. But I will tell you guys this. There's going to be something that comes out of this. And I don't know if it's going to lead to prosecution of Wack100, the execution of Wack100. That's a possibility. I'm just saying, well, I didn't say that. I'm just saying it's a variable. It's a variable. So we're going to say the prosecution, possible execution, possible solution from some way or another with Wack. But yeah, they're going to talk to you. You tough. You tough. I know this. But just remember, being tough don't earn you 3 more sets of hands. Being tough don't earn you 3 more sets of arms. You gonna need them. You gonna need them. Get 6 arms and get 6 guns put on each one of those arms, because you're gonna be shooting in all different directions. I'm gonna be like Dr. Strange. Y'all see Dr. Strange in that new promo? You know what I'm saying? Because they're coming for you. This was the worst part of information that could ever. I can't even believe this shit. I couldn't believe what I heard. I was like, if you're sitting on that, what else are you sitting on? You know, that's a question too. If he's sitting on this, what else is he sitting on, yo? What else is he sitting on? I heard they had sex tapes with, what was it, Julio Iglesias' son, and I said, what the fuck were these motherfuckers doing? This is that old school shit right here. You don't have, look here. He's probably talking like this. Some niggas old. Look here, you jive turkey. If you ain't got that bread. If you ain't got that bread, how much y'all looking for? 200K. Big money. Get the fuck out of here. Look here, you jive turkey. Don't act look like you should be saying some shit like that. What you about to do? I'm about to pull up in my Cadillac. You know what I'm saying, Cat Daddy? Oh, he look like one of them 80s niggas with a Jerry curl. Just let your soul glow. Ass motherfucker back in the day. Probably. Who know? I ain't got no problem with Wack100 though. I do got a problem with this right here and this taping what you said. So I guess I kind of do got a problem with you. But not like, you know what I mean? For real. Y'all niggas too old for this shit. Y'all way too old for that. Like y'all didn't find one business that would just last y'all for the rest of y'all life. Y'all have to be friendly. Can't one of y'all act or something? Wack100 should be an actor. You should be an actor. You read scripts anyway, so you should be an actor. I'm dead serious. You will be the perfect actor. Put him in like South Central Part 2 or Minister Society Part 3 or some shit. Like for real. Like Wack would be a good actor. You're already acting on camera. But you get to the point sometimes, man, you just look like a teenager. Like, you know what I'm saying? All the time. It's not sometimes. Everybody has an outburst or two. Hell, I had an outburst the night before last. I just mean, no. I mean, you just personally really need to chill the fuck out, bro, and look at your life, because shit ain't looking right. And like I said, you headed for either prosecution, possible possible execution or possibly a solution. And the solution mean all inclusive of anything, you know? And you might be handed a solution. That's all I'm saying to you, buddy. And Hassan, you got to be more careful because you're the one. Please hit that like button for me if y'all would, guys. And if you can't, donate to Cashapp $STRINGERBELL80. The link is in the description and also in the title. I appreciate that. But you got to worry about if this does make it to a court, being the fact that you recorded the audio. The first thing he's going to do is dispute the audio, Hassan. He's going to dispute his acknowledgement of it being recorded, which depending on what state he was calling from, if he was calling from Cali, I don't know. He stays on the road a lot, so I don't know. But depending on what state he lived in, you might need his permission before you record him on the phone. So that's cool too, because some states play it like, okay, well, that's the state you're calling from. It's legal there. It's just not legal in this state. You can't record everybody in every state in the United States. I don't know if you guys knew that or not. Like, if you've heard me before, somebody else will be like, how are you filming me? And I say, the state of Connecticut, and I say it 3 or 4 times. You know, they shut the fuck up when I say it. They'll say I'll say the state of Connecticut states that I don't need to let you be aware. I don't nor do I need your permission or anything else if I film you. I don't. Especially in moments of distress. Especially in moments of distress, in moments that I might need some coincidental evidence to suggest or help over the upcoming trial or case, anything like that I might have. So, meaning a car wreck, whatever. So, depending on the state he's in, some states do this, and this is why I was saying that. Some states, if you want to make something admissible in the court, both states have to have it. As far as I knew last time, both states have to have it where you can record the phone call without the one or the other's permission. I'm pretty sure of that. Now, I can hop off and look, but I'm pretty sure of that. Then, in some cases, they won't let it admissible at all because recording someone without their acknowledgement in that state is inadmissible in court. Doesn't matter what state you was in and you recorded the audio. So that's 3 different scenarios it could be. But once a courtroom, jury, or judge hears that, sees the video, he's curtains. Now, all them other hippity-hoppity motherfuckers ain't gonna tell you that. I'm gonna tell you the truth. And that's the place that you don't want to be, Hassan Campbell. Because a court case like that would drag on for years. That means that whole timeline, his whole thing is getting revenge on you while he's still out because he knows potentially he's going to jail. And the reason he wants revenge on you at that time will be because you took down his kingdom, his own little personal kingdom. It's hard as shit to get that hip-hop money back, trust me. We can't even call it hip-hop money no more. But it's hard as hell to get that lifestyle back, trust me. It's hard to get that lifestyle back. You know, some people deserve to get it back, and then some people don't. Some people don't. I can name you numerous people that were rich, lost it, and then got it back and did better the second time around versus some people that just had it for a long time, and if they fail with it, it's going to hurt them big because their whole lifestyle's entangled in that. Wack is one of them dudes. Money has to fuel his machine. If it does not, then he will never be nothing. You can have him up in jail, he's going to be a totally different dude. Do you think they're going to be making prashada and fucking stang-ons in fucking prison? Do you think that's what they're going to be doing? Huh? Then they're going to be making Italian wedding soup, some matzo balls, a couple panins. You think that's what they're going to be doing? Sitting around like, was it Goodfellas? No. He's going to have to fight every fucking day he's in there. And if they don't send him to some federal prison for his own protection, based off the information was given out, he's going to have a whole rough time in there, however long they give him. But you mark my words when I tell you this, and I'm saying it right now, Something's gonna come of that audio. Something. It's too. I keep telling y'all. Once it gets on the internet, it gets a life of its own. It gets a life of its own. And if that audio is picked up by any prosecutor, excuse me, y'all, my nose was itching. If that audio is picked up by any prosecutor or anybody in the investigation hears that audio, they're gonna have some questions for both of them boys. So, Hassan, you gotta be real careful, buddy. Okay? I know it look all hot and glitzy right now because you got the story out there, but I'm telling you, kid, I'm telling you, don't play too hard with it. And if I were you, if you put out the video that you're talking about that you said on DoggieDiamonds tonight, what you got something with Gilly and Wallow or whatever, make sure it's not too strong, because if it's too strong, you could implement and start a whole nother war, G. You know, a whole freaking war with that. So your responsibility is to be careful with the information you're putting out there. Be very careful. You can't just be loose and sloppy with it to be throwing stuff out for views and likes and shit. Throw out the pertinent stuff if you're going to throw stuff out, okay? The pertinent part. I don't want to hear about Wallow, and Gilly. That's not pertinent. Unless you're going to do something to them, then that's a different, whole different ball game. But if it's just a disc or something like that, save that shit to the end. Throw out the pertinent stuff. That's what everybody want to hear right now. You could drive a nail in a coffin right now with this guy. So I hope they didn't have that boy killed. Like they whispering out in the street. I hope to God they didn't have that boy killed. Yeah, hit those like buttons, man. Nipsey Hussle would have been a lot to not only the industry, but to just to name a few, man. Things that kid was getting ready to do. We all went through the story, but it just seems like it's a lot of elements that just like, F that man. The other one comes up again, the favorite one. But he ain't American black, though. You ain't fucking American black either, you stupid fuck. You go 3 generations, we got people out here that's light skinned talking about this is for foundational African Americans. How? When your whole fucking family is half Dutch or half Irish or some shit like that, way down the line, not even 5 generations ago. Fucking hilarious. Got African Americans, a mix of white, talking about purity. Purity. Were you Hitler now? Heimen. They're going to say Nipsey Hussle wasn't all the way black because he was Ethiopian. Or Eritrean, excuse me, which is right next door to each other. They're going to say that in their arguments. So that means we shouldn't care nothing about him. That's fucking hilarious. I gotta get these so silly arguments from people for the last generation who couldn't revere themselves around the racist end of America and instead provide leadership. They wanted to assimilate. Then we'll get into a conversation about so many people of the baby boom generation being assimilous. They're assimilated. They left you behind. That's why you still have the same aura, same shit going on 20, 35, 40 years later because they never did their part. Angela Davis. You ever heard of Angela Davis? She's a fucking professor at Harvard University. One of the most radical women ever. She's a fucking Harvard professor. Cornel West, he used to be radical. A lot of those guys used to be radical. They did fucking nothing. Okay? I miss Dick Gregory. That's who I miss. I miss Dick Gregory. Dick Gregory said to his final days and his fathers, fuck all y'all, just shut your fucking mouth and listen. That was the shit he had been wanting to say for years. For years. And he wasn't able to say it because he was still young and people wouldn't listen to him. It wasn't even that they were neutralized per se. I don't think it was that, to understand. Thank you for tuning in again, too. I don't think it was that. I think what it really was We were coming out of the high ends of racism. I'm talking about Jim Crow, the 1968 Bill of Rights and everything like that. And I think, and Martin Luther King getting killed and Malcolm X. So the country was in a new tune. And I think when Malcolm and Martin both got killed, Watts Rise happened, the Speaker of California. I think when all that shit happened, what it did was it turned the tone of this country from racism into job security. And so the times made it rough for a lot of men with uncertainty, I think. And what they decided to do was they said, you know what? The real way to get through this system, the real way to help everybody, I think they had good intentions, is to get into the infrastructure and work my way in and out. And a lot of men tried it and it just didn't work for them. I see Spanish men trying to do it. I see Indian men trying to do it. I've seen Asian men try to do it. It works out for very few foreigners like it works out, believe it or not, for Middle Eastern men. I would say Middle Eastern men and Asian men because of the type of businesses they own. They're also very clever at hiring their own, which a lot of African Americans and Latinos similarly don't do. The first thing they want to do is assimilate and dive right in and never go anywhere. I had the older people tell me that they felt hopeless after Kennedy. Yeah, the drugs and free love era, as we're seeing again now. We're in that drugs and free love era again. I mean, hookup culture, free love, drugs. Everybody's doing everything from fucking ecstasy, meth, fucking fentanyl, you name it. I don't, you know, I knew. Yeah, we're living in those times now. Again, totally agree with you, dude. Totally agree with you. And it's fucking sad because what do you think if those people were so forgetful about the next generation in front of them? What do you think that the millennials will be? I can't wait till I see, like, I'm talking about younger millennials than me. I'm like the oldest of millennials based on the birthplace where I was born at. I was born considerably, probably what, a year and a half outside of what they were considering a millennial at the time. So if I was a millennial, I'd be the oldest of the millennials, the youngest of Generation X. You know what I mean? Meaning, like, I was in, shit, it's hard to explain all that, but the birth year that they start counting millennials, I'm a year and a half off from it, if that makes any sense. So that would mean I was a year and a half old when they started counting millennials. Even if I was 2 or 3 years old, I wasn't going out hanging on the corner or some shit like that. You know, I was in diapers. The pill and apps era. The pill and apps area. They're gonna burn out way worse than the hippies. They're gonna be the hippies at least had a fucking cause behind why they were doing drugs, right? Like the average hippie, when they were doing drugs and shit like that, I think the hippies they were doing it because they thought it was some type of connection with God or some shit like that, right? The motherfuckers are doing drugs now. They doing it just to be cool. What are you doing? No, I just did like 30 pills. And a lot of them are dying, you know? A lot of them are dying because of that drugs. That's another thing that really wasn't happening with the hippies. You have some, heroin overdoses were the big thing, I think, in the 80s and 90s, really, heroin overdoses. That's the only thing we could ever hear of all the time. I have a friend, his father died of heroin overdose. I don't get how a motherfucker get high then be violent. Right? I thought drugs were supposed to make you feel good. That's the same thing I saw with that Flocka shit. I don't know if you remember this, but I think I was down there when it first popped off. They had this shit called Flocka down in Miami. And it was more in Broward County and shit like that. You ain't see it in South Beach or Aventura, no fucking where. And these motherfuckers were getting high off this shit, jumping through windows, biting people. There was one motherfucker, I don't know if y'all remember the story. He was high on that flock of shit, and he was down there on the fucking highway eating this man's face off, like literally tearing into this man's face and biting him. And I was just like, yo, I don't want no drugs to do that. Listen, they had a drug that was in Russia and the Ukraine, and they never speak about this on the news. It was called crocodile. And this shit was making people's flesh fall off their bones. I swear to God to you, go look it up right now. Look up drug, Russian drug crocodile. And it made its way all the way to France. But it was funneled through the Ukraine. There ain't no money. Y'all ain't gonna believe this when I tell y'all this. There's no money in the drug game like it is in that European market. That's where all your money is, because everybody's funneled into there is your superstars, your rappers. They all travel back and forth, back and forth, back and forth between Dubai, France, all these places. If you guys would have got to hear the Johnny Depp testimony, which I'll throw some of that up for y'all, you will hear them give it a details on how many drugs Johnny Depp was doing. Johnny Depp was getting fucked up in a real way. Like, this motherfucker had a bottle of his morning Hennessy and shit. He had a video where he poured a whole half a bottle of liquor into a cup. Johnny Depp was wilding, but making sure the heat's on. Johnny Depp was wilding. Johnny motherfucking Depp. But I ain't gonna get into Johnny Depp right now. I'll say that for another cast. I just wanted to talk a little bit about this Wack100 and Hassan Campbell thing. I hope it's not an act. I hope that you don't think that's your friend Hassan. And I hope to God y'all don't try to get cool after this. Because that would be this. I can't even fuck with you no more. I couldn't fuck with you no more. This is why I didn't subscribe to your channel. I watch your channel, but I ain't subscribed to your channel. Fuck that shit. Hell no. That's the nigga that, you know that nigga. No, I don't. Yes, you do, nigga. You know that nigga. I see you subscribe right there. You know that nigga. I ain't subscribing that motherfucking page over there, but my prayers are with you. For real. Y'all the two most wanted men in motherfucking America right now. Y'all don't even know it. Hassan Campbell and Wack100. Who would have ever thought? Who would have thought it? I didn't. And Hassan, don't ever try to call me. That shit's out the conversation. Don't ever try to call me. I'm always assume you record now. So like, no way. No way. All right, guys. I just wanted to tap in on that. Salute to DoggieDiamonds for doing what his due diligence is. Y'all make sure y'all hit the like button, hit up the Cash App, $STRINGER. There's a lot of things going on. There's something important going on this weekend. I want to be there and film it for you and be in attendance, as I think I should. So make sure y'all hit up the Cash App. I want to tell you again to Benitria. I want to say again to, I think his name was Brian or something like that. They also donated earlier. Y'all see what I did. I took that and went to the store and went healthy to the store too. I appreciate that. But we gotta still get to this event. So Cash App, $STRINGERBELL80. The link is in the description box and in the title of the damn video. And I just want to say one thing. Hassan, make sure you duck and whack. Get your lawyer.